gonna do, I got some requests to do some JPA, so let's go ahead and jump into that. We're back at the pizza example here, and so we wrote a controller that has get pizza, post mapping, another get mapping. So we're kind of writing a CRUD here. We also have different versions of endpoints, highlighting how we can do error handling. So that's pretty cool. So let's go through the repository here, and let's see if we can play around a little bit with JPA. And then also see if we can figure out how to do a one-to-many or a many-to-many relationship. Okay. And so forgive me for that because I am not the best at many-to-many or one-to-many relationships, but we can learn together. Okay. So one of the coolest things about JPA is that you can have custom queries written out as methods. Okay. So I did an example here of find all by size here, and we can play around with a few more. So I'm just gonna open up Google here real quick, and we're gonna do JPA query method name, and let's see what we get. JPA query methods, and let's see what we can come up with. So here's a good one: find by email address and last name. So we can combine two different fields with and. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We can do list pizza find, and then what does it say? Find by email. So I find by email I think is a single one. So we're going to do find all by, and then we're going to do what do we have in our pizzas? Go back to the pizza model here, and we have find all by size and sauce. How about that? Okay, and then here we need to put in pizza size, and then we got to put in a string sauce like this. Okay, so this right here is going to be automatically generated. How do we know if it works? We can go back here to our test, our integration test under the repo, go to the pizza repository integration test here, and then we can actually write a test that verifies that we are actually getting those, that the method actually works. So let's copy this real quick. We're going to set the size as well, or the sauce as well, and this is going to be called find all by size and sauce. And the sauce, what were the sauce? Marinara was one of them. Marinara and tomato. Returns all filtered pizzas. Okay, so we're gonna do dot small, and then we're gonna do sauce. And what are we gonna put here? Tomato. And there's another one, marinara. How do you spell it? Like that? Okay, cool. Let's keep on going. Let's do 3 marinara, and then we're gonna do 3 tomatoes. All right. Oh, only got 2 tomatoes. That's fine. So now we have our pizzas here. We're saving all of our pizzas, pizza 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we're going to do is instead of doing find all by size, we're going to do find all by size and sauce. So find all by size and sauce. And then we're going to look for all mediums with marinara. So that means that there should only be one. And it's going to be equal to, we'll do assert equals marinara pizzas.get 0.get sauce. All right. Do you have any questions so far on what we're doing here?
No, I don't. I do have a question though.
Mhm.
Tonight, would we be able to cover a little bit about Vue? I know
Yeah.
I know some folks who are needing just like some overviews about Vue, and I'm sure if you could like build some stuff in here and show them some stuff. I'm not a great teacher with it, but you're like a much better teacher than me, so maybe it might help them to
Sure.
see some stuff in Vue.
Yeah, that'd be great. I haven't worked on Vue since the Tech Elevator graduation, so shoot. Let's see if I can stumble through that.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we have this right here, right, let's go ahead and run it. And so this is an excellent way of testing custom queries and how you can use different combinations. We can do, like find by email, or we can do, you can do sorting as well if you wanted to. Like you can do order by, and you can put all of those into the method itself, and it'll act accordingly. Let's make sure that this works though. Yep, it passed. Man, it's so awesome. I'm going to change this just to make sure that it is working properly.
You said this is all done by the name of the function? Or?
Yes, it's all done by the name of the method.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's crazy. It's magic. Spring Boot magic. Okay, and this should fail because it said it expected marinaras, but the actual pizza with sauce that was returned was marinara. Okay, so we wanted to find all by size and sauce of medium and marinara. There was only one pizza that was returned because there's only one that has both of those attributes. This has tomato. This one is large. And so, yeah, that's how I got that. So it's pretty cool. Okay, and let's go back to the pizza repository. So you can add as many methods as you want here doing that. And let's see if they have any other ones. So you can use, I don't know what distinct is, but there's and, or. You can use is, equals, find by first name, and then x So then you got to just make sure that you put the parameters here. So like right here, so find all by size and sauce. Make sure that the parameter actually matches the name here, so it knows what you're referencing. Look at this. You can do find by start date after, find by start date before, is null or null. So there's all sorts of cool things here, and I can put them here for additional examples. All right, cool. I think what we're gonna do is we'll have to do view on next Tuesday, because I need to go back and really like just mess around with it a little bit, so that I don't slow the whole class down with me trying to stumble through it.
Okay.
So we'll do. What were you gonna say?
I just said that. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So now that we have this, right, let's go back and I think a lot of people want to actually cover a one-to-many and a like a many-to-many relationship. And for that, what you can do is you can go here to the general page, and this was here a while back, and I'm going to actually reference it, and then I can show you how to put it together. So let's see. Oh, this is Team Healers. I'm sorry. Let's go to general. Okay, where are we at? His name's Vlad. I don't even have to look. I just gotta. It's in the general if you need it, but I already know who this guy is. His name's Vlad. He's the best. Look at that. He automatically pops up. The best way to map a one-to-many relationship with JPA and Hibernate. This guy is ridiculously smart, and he go through this entire thing to try to figure out what he's talking about. It is a very difficult read, but he gives you code that you can use. So we're gonna go ahead and put those in there as well.
I think I read that page like 3 times.
You read it like 3 times?
I was trying to understand it and find other videos. So I'm trying to do the many to one.
Many to one. Okay. Well, it should be the same. So the way from what he's saying, you don't want to do the many to one. You want to do one to many. Many to many, best way. And let's see if we can experiment with it and see what's going on with that. So many to many relationship data design. Well, we got to put in Vlad's name. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and go through this. So now that we have, let's think of some examples. We have pizza, right? So what can be a good one-to-one or one-to-many relationship for pizzas? Well, I'm gonna think let's add a customer, right? So remember, if you want to make this a table, you add entity like this. All right, and we're gonna make this at data because we want to add all of our getters and setters, and then we just need to make sure we add our ID and our generated value strategy equals identity, generation type identity, and then this is gonna be private long ID, right? Okay, and then let's just do some first name and last name. And let's see what else. ID, first name, last name.
Address.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, we can do that. I don't want to get too crazy on it. Basically, I wanted to figure out how about for every customer we have their favorite pizza, so that on their birthday we can then like give them a coupon for the favorite pizza. Right? I guess I don't know if that makes sense or not. Okay, so what we want to have here. So what we have here, right, is we want to be able to link up our customer with a pizza reference, okay? And actually,
Would a one-to-many be like an order? Like one order that has multiple pizzas in it? Is that what you're trying to go for?
yeah, but you know what? I think a better way of doing this is let's actually do something else. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a let's pretend we're doing a message form. So we will do a post. We'll follow Vlad's example here. That way it's a lot more intuitive, and I'm not screwing around with pizzas and things like that. Okay, so right here, let's look at Vlad one-to-many. Okay, so basically what he's doing here is there's a post and then there's a post comment. Okay, so imagine a message form where somebody puts up a post, and then people can then comment on that post. Okay, so let's see if let's just map this out real quick. So we're gonna create a post. Let's call it a message post. Okay, and then we're gonna put in at entity, at data, and then we're going to put in the same stuff we put in before. So the customer stuff, we can put all that stuff here. All right, and then you're gonna need what, a title or something like that? Let's see what he has here. Yeah, he has a title, and then one-to-many. So this is gonna have one-to-many comments. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a private list of comments, and then this is gonna be called the comments. All right, so this is where it gets a little tricky. This is what are we trying to do with the object mapper here? So the whole point of this is to create, instead of having to deal with foreign keys and IDs and things like that. Remember what I said before, how the business logic should just be pure Java and you don't care about implementation of all the other details. they're trying to make this as convenient and as easy for you as possible. Okay, so when you're writing, like let's say you're looking at a message post, right? You're gonna have message post, and you're gonna get it from some repo. So repo.get get all from user or something like that, right? And then once you have the message post, all you got to do at that point is, if you want to go through all the comments, you just go message post.get comments, and you can just go through them right away. In the database, everything is mapped out with IDs. So there's a comments table and there is a message table, and they're tied together by the foreign keys. So there's a whole different implementation of that. We're going to want to go in. Well, I'll show you guys when we go through H2. We can play around with it. But the way the Hibernate works, Hibernate is the object relational mapper. It's trying to make it easy for you so you don't have to worry about all of that stuff. Okay. So let's go ahead and set up comment now. So at data, at entity, and then we're going to put in the same ID there. And the comment, oh, he calls it post comment. Oh, look, he has a join table. All right, so let's see. Post comment and string review. I don't know why he calls it string review. Let's call it message comment. No, post comment. Okay, and so that we can just follow his, not get too far from his format. Let's just put private string review. Okay, so here's the comment, and then it's tied to a message post. And then notice here, and so if you wanted to, this is where it gets confusing. If you wanted to, you can also have a link to the parent. So you can do private message post, okay? And so the reason why I have everybody, this is called post comment. There we go. Let me just get all this stuff set up. Okay, so now that we have all this set up, right? We have our message post here, and then we have our post comment here. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and run this, because I want to see what it looks like inside of H2. And because remember, as soon as you do entity, it's going to try to add, this to the table. Oh, cool. Could not determine recommended JDC type for pizza here. And that's because I did not map it properly. This is great. It's already showing how crazy this is. So I'm going to take out the entity from customer so that we don't try to generate anything with a generated table. I'm going to run this. I'm probably going to run into the same error because message post has a list of comments here. And it doesn't, yeah, it comes up with the same error. It says, could not determine recommended JDBC type for Java type post comment. So what it's saying is it doesn't know how to set up the value for a post comment. And that's because we haven't told it how to set it up yet. So let's just go ahead and comment this out. And then let's run it again. I probably screwed up. I probably got to take it out from here too. Yeah, I have a message post here. Let me take this out. So let me run this again. And then they should create the tables. And then we can go in and try to figure out how to hook them up. Okay, let's try it again. See, it's the same issue. It doesn't know, like a long, it knows how to make it into a SQL field. A string, it knows how to, it can use a varchar inside of SQL, right? It doesn't know how to deal with the message post. So this is what we have to, these are the issues that you're going to run into when you're working with this. Okay, so we got this up and running. Let's go to H2 and see how it looks like. Okay, so now that we have this, we can connect to it. And now you see that we have a message post and we have a post comment. So the post comment has an ID and a review, and then your message post has an ID and a title. All right, but here's the thing. You want a one-to-many relationship with the post comments. So I think what you would want to do is you would want to have a foreign key, or you would want to have a field that's a foreign key inside a post comment that is pointing to its message post. Does that make sense? So if we draw it out, like there should be some field that references the ID of this object. So like if you have a message post of 5 and that message has 5 comment or 10 comments, then there should be 10 of these that have an ID of 5. So let's see if we can go ahead and set that up. And this is also a study of how H2 sets things up for us. So let's go back and check this out here, how he does this. So consider we have the following mapping. He has entity and table, post, ID generated value, long ID, private string title. But now what he's going to do, he's going to do one-to-many, cascade equals cascade type all, orphan removal equals true. And he is going to put that over this. So this is the post comment. So over here, nope, it's on the message post. He's going to do this. All right, and let's go through exactly what all of this stuff is. So what he's doing here is he is setting up the relationship. He is telling Hibernate, listen, I need you to make this post comment. This is referencing another table, and I have a one-to-many relationship to it. I want you to cascade type all, which means, shoot, I don't know. I have an idea. Cascade basically means if, let's look it up. Oh man, that was Dobby. Cascade type. Versus cascade type merge. Okay. What is the meaning of the cascade type all? So the meaning of cascade type all is that the persistence will propagate, cascade all entity manager operations to the related entities. Yeah. So like right here, let's say I have a comment, right? And I have a list of comments pointing to that. Cascading would make it so that if I delete the post, all of those comments would also get deleted. That's what cascade means. Cascade merge. What does cascade merge do? It could be good to have cascade. So I mean, I don't know the exact definition of this, but it kind of gives you an idea of what cascade type is. It basically means does Hibernate try to fix your records for you, basically? So if you delete a parent, will it get rid of the children as well? Oh, look, and there's Vlad answering the question. All right, so and then the other one is orphan removal true, and this basically goes to what I was talking about before. If there is an orphan, like if there are comments that don't have a post, then this thing will try to erase them. All right, and then next we have our list of post comment, and now the reason that we can have a list here is because it's one to many. And we're going to create a new array list. So what we're saying here is anytime you create one of these objects, if there's nothing there, at the very least, make a new list so that nothing breaks. So you don't want this thing to ever be null, okay? So either this thing's gonna be initialized with an empty array, or JPA will give it a list of objects. All right, so let's go back to this. Oh my gosh, Dobby, you're so ugly. Okay, so now that we have this right here, right? Let's go back and check out the post comment as well. So now that we're here in the post comment, oh my gosh. Let's see here. So here, notice in this implementation of it, he is not trying to put a parent in, and he is making it so that it can just run by itself. So let's see what happens if we map this out, or if we try to run this. So I'm going to hit stop and rerun, and hopefully we do not get an error, because that means that it was able to map this out properly. Okay, so we got that there, and let's go back and look at the H2 and see what happens. All right. Oh, wow. It created a join table. Are you serious? It created a join table? That's horrible. Okay. So here in the message post, you have all of your, you have an ID and a title, but here on message post comments, it created a join table. So now you're going to have a comments ID and you're going to have a message post ID. So you have a table that is just mapping IDs to each other. When you use a join table, that's for many to many. So I don't know why it's doing that. That's crazy. But Vlad did point it out. And then you have your post comment here. So it's just ID and review. So the reason he wrote that article is because he is saying there's a better way of doing it. You don't really want to have the join table. So let's go back and look at what he was doing here. So now he's saying, now if we persist one post and 3 post comments, so he does post is equal to new post, and then he starts adding all of these guys, then he saves it. Hibernate is going to execute the following SQL statements, and he shows all the SQL statements that are executed. And why is that? Why are there so many queries executed? And what's the deal with that post comment table anyway? Well, by default, that's how the unidirectional one-to-many association works, and this is how it looks from a database perspective. Yeah, we just saw this. For a DBA, this looks more like a many-to-many database association than the one-to-many relationship, and it's not very efficient either. Instead of 2 tables, we now have 3 tables, so we are using more storage than necessary. Instead of only 1 foreign key, we now have 2 of them. However, since we are most likely going to index these foreign keys, we are going to require twice as much memory to cache the index for this association. Not nice. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, so how do we run examples? I want to show you guys how to run the examples real quick. So let's do that. Let's do spring boot run on startup. And this is separate from JPA. This is completely different, but this is a nice trick that you guys can do. So what we're going to do is application ready event. It's as simple as that. This is not what I was expecting. Application listener, monitor. Okay, I guess we can do this. Oh, here it is. Implements application runner. These are old, I think. All right, let's see. Here we go. Nope, I don't like that. Command line runner. Okay, let's see if we can do this. So inside of our main, we're going to do implements command line runner. I don't know if this is the right way of doing it. I don't think so. I don't think that's the right way of doing it. Sorry about this. Application runner. Nope, 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 nope. I mean, it's kind of cool. I guess it's the application prepared event. So it's as simple as, let's do this then. Okay, so in here, we're going to put in at event listener. We are going to import this. We're going to import this. And let's go ahead and run this and make sure that this thing actually runs. And what we want to do is inside of here, we're going to do auto-wired, and then we're going to set up our customer repository. Oh shoot, we need customer repositories and a comment post comment, or we're going to need a message post repository and a post comment repository. Yep, hello world, like you started up. Good. So that code worked. So let's go ahead and create a Java class here for message post repository. Interface extends JPA repository. It's going to be the class. So this is going to be a message post, and then this is going to be a long. All right. So we got that one right there, and then we're going to do another one, post comment repository. I should have named it an interface. Actually, let's just do this. So post comment repository, and in here it's going to be a post comment. All right. So now that we have this set up, we can now use them. So inside of our main here, demo application, I'm going to auto wire a post comment repository, and then I'm going to auto wire a message post repository. All right. This is like cheating here because I'm putting the beans in here, and then I'm just going to run them right here on startup so that we're going to save the records. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see how we're going to do this. So let's do post comment repository dot. Let's do this post. I'm shooting from the hip here, so I don't know how much of this is going to fail. So we're going to do post comment is equal to new post comment like this. Okay. And we're going to do a message post first. Message post is equal to a new message post. So this is how you want to initialize. So basically what I'm showing you is how to initialize a database without having to use the data SQL. You can actually initialize it here if you like. All right. So, and then let's see here. So message post. So if message post repository dot, is there a count? Yeah. So if the count is equal to 0, that means that there's nothing in there. Then we'll go ahead and we'll run this stuff. All right. So message post. We created a whole new message post, and in here we have a long and a title and comments. So let's do a required, no, all args constructor, and go in here, and we're going to then pass in. Oh, let me go back. Let me do a no args constructor too. Okay. So in here, we're going to set up. We don't have an ID because it's null, and we're going to set hello world. And there is going to be in a new. We're just setting up a whole new array list for the comments. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing with the post comment here. Do require our all args constructor, and in here we're going to do a review here. So let's just do colors for their comments. So in here we're going to create post comment 1 is equal to new comment null red, and then we'll do red, white, and blue. So this is going to be post comment 2, post comment 3, red, white, and blue. Okay, and then the goal is, and this could blow up in my face, but we're going to message post.get comments.add post comment 1, and we're going to do the same thing with all of these, right? And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to save them. So message, and I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. So we're going to do message post repository dot save message post. Can you guys give me a reason why you think this will not work? Any guesses? Can somebody play the Dobby sound of him hurting himself?
Dobby had to punish himself, sir.
Yes, he does. But any guesses on this? Why do you think this will work or will not work? Okay. Well, the reason I don't think it's going to work is because you save all of these objects here, right? And then you add them into the message repository. But then when you save the message post, these guys don't have any IDs. So maybe because they have to be saved also, basically. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and stop and rerun, and then we can check out H2 and figure out what happened with these guys. All right. So we're running. If we get an error, that means it blew up. Oh, it's not blowing up. It's not blowing up. It's not blowing up. Oh my goodness, it worked. Dobby is free. All right, so let's check out this in H2.
Dobby is free.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now let's look at the message post here. So what hello world message post was here. Post comment, when you run this, post comment has red, white, and blue. That is awesome. It does work. And then for message post comment, this one join table, it should now have 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. And it's mapping them all out. That's pretty cool.
What if you put IDs instead of null? Would it have those ID numbers? Like if you
Well,
had
no, I did put null.
no, but what if you didn't what if you put numbers there?
If I put numbers there, it's going to ignore them.
Just ignore those things?
Because it's the strategy is identity. I'm pretty sure it'll ignore it. Let's try it again. Let's try it out. And the reason for that is because when you go look at the comment here, post comment, it has generated value identity. So if we took this out, then yes, it would do it.
Are you gonna have record style? Is your code gonna?
Oh, what the heck? It broke. Let me try it again.
Yeah, but if you said if it's empty or if your tables are empty, that's when you run the code.
What do you mean?
Like every time you do a rerun of this, are your databases all cleared up?
Yes, because H2.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Detached entity pass to persist. So, yeah, this is weird. I don't understand why that broke. Well, let's take this off and see what happens. Oh, it's because I passed in the 1 and it doesn't know that it's a 1. That's why it's saying it's detached, because I passed in IDs and they weren't saved. I'm lying to it, basically. So let's see if it can figure out this. So I took off the generate ID, so I'm taking the responsibility of generation from Hibernate. Dude, it's working? What? All right, let's check it out. So let me refresh here. Half of Spring Boot is just running this kind of stuff to figure out how it does its magic, basically. So let's look at post comment here. Post comment is using ID 2, 4, and 6 because I added that.
Yeah, 'cause
And then when you go post comment here, it actually maps it out. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even save it. And I think it's because of the cascade. So because I have cascade type all, it's smart enough to know, oh, this guy doesn't exist. I'm going to have to save it first, and then I'll go ahead and add him in. So if I take this off and we rerun this, it might break. Okay, it's not break. Oh, it did break. Cascade was turned off. Referential integrity constraint violation. Post comments foreign key references. Basically, the foreign key does not make any sense to it because by taking off cascading, it's assuming that you are smart enough to follow the proper steps of saving records before, before referencing. It's saying you should be smart enough to save a record before you reference it as a foreign key. But we're dependent on Spring Boot's magic, so we might not be aware of that. So if I add cascade type all, so Stephen, maybe to answer your questions that you might have had before, like this is probably why stuff maybe wasn't working. But so yeah, we got this one right here. This should work. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make this generated because I would rather have it generate IDs for you instead of me having to deal with or having to control that. So I'm gonna put that back, and then we're gonna go back and well, let's see what it looks like now. We added cascade back. It should it should work. So we're running this. It's 246. Yep. So now that I added generated value and I rerun it. Oh yeah, it got mad at me because I have to make it null, right? That's so weird because usually if you try to save an object with an ID in there, I've seen it where it will just override it and not care. So it just you got to play around with this basically to really understand its behavior, and it might change too. So you just be used to if you're working with Spring Boot, you want to be able to just create like little sample projects, and then you can then figure out how the magic works. Okay. So and then by the way, this is H2, so I really don't even need this, right? But if this ever went to production, this code's still going to run in production. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why you would want to have this check in there because when you put this in production, it's going to see is there a count in there? Oh, this thing's not empty. Great. I won't rerun this code right here and try to create another hello world message basically. All right. So now that we have this, and by the way, I'm sure you can configure this. I'm sure you can do a configuration profile where it only runs for local builds if you really wanted to. If you only wanted this to run locally instead of in production. So there is ways around that. You just got to research the annotations for it. Okay. So now that we have this, that's pretty cool. But Vlad doesn't want us to do it this way. Let's see the best way Vlad wants us to do it. So we just covered how you would do this. So he was using Entity Manager, which is like the core primitive way of doing it with Hibernate. We use a repository. So yeah, that's why I was showing you that way. Hibernate is going to execute the following SQL statements. So this is all the stuff that it executed. Yep, and we already covered all this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do unidirectional one-to-many with a join column. So to fix the aforementioned extra join table issue, we just need to add the join column in the mix. So what this is doing is this is telling Hibernate, I want you to create a field in the table that is going to be a foreign key. So we're going to add join column here, name equals post ID. So here inside of our post, it's going to be underneath. So you're going to put it here, right? Join column, and it's going to be post ID. Oh my gosh, this is where it gets confusing. That's why I love these articles because I always have to go back
like
and look
message
at
post ID, or is it?
Yeah, message post ID. Let's do message post ID. Good. So what this is saying is the message post ID is on the post comment table. That's why I have this. That's why I can't remember this stuff. So I always have to keep these articles. That's why I rather remember Vlad than all this other stuff. So what he's saying is the join column is saying I want you to reference, or I want this relationship to be saved on the message post ID field of the post comment table. Kind of not cool because when you're looking at the post comment, you don't see that, right? You have no idea that there's actually a join table or that there's another field attached to this. So yeah, let's see how that works out. Okay, so back here, let's go back here. Unidirectional. So he adds this. The join column annotation helps Hibernate to figure out that there is a post ID foreign key column in the post comment table that defines this association. With this annotation in place, when persisting the 3 post comment entities, we get the following SQL output, and there it is right here. So actually, is there a way we can look at these? Let's see here. I want to see the H2 being produced. So how do we do that? So H2 code log debug mode, debug level. How can I debug with H2? So let's see if there's an option here. Nope, not in the application YAML. Oh, there it is. Turn on logging of SQL statements executable Hibernate and application properties. There we go. So we're just going to put that here. And it's under logging level org Hibernate SQL debug. Great. So let's go ahead and rerun this. Shoot, let's take this out and see if we get the same code that Vlad got. So I'm just going to stop and rerun. Let's see if we get the same SQL. I don't know if it let me stop and rerun. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Ah, shoot. We don't need that. Shoot, this is supposed to be like this. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so now we run, and this should now start showing if we did it right. There we go. Look at that. Showing all of the SQL being generated. This is great, right? It inserted all of these. It wrote 6 lines. Oh, so it's pretty smart. Oh, no, look. Check it out. It had 1 insert. It had 3 inserts. And then it has 3 additional inserts into that join table. So there's a total of 7 inserts for the 3 records and the message post. All right. So now let's see what happens if we add the join column and see how it affects this. So let's go back and rerun it. Okay. All right, we're running. So it's creating the tables, insert into message post. Oh, so it's doing an update. It's doing 3 updates. So it creates the records up front, but then it updates the post comment with the message post ID where ID is equal to that. All right, that's cool. So now, but at least we got 2 tables. We got it down to 2 tables. So if we go here, I bet you there's 2 tables. So let's go to H2 console, refresh this. This message post comment table should be gone. Yep, it's gone. That's awesome. So we have message post. Let's run that. And it's so the message post is the parent. It doesn't have any reference. But when you go to post comment and you run this, you're going to see that the review, the text is this, its ID is this, but the message post ID that it's referencing is 1. That's pretty cool. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go back to Vlad here. A little bit better, but what's the purpose of those 3 update statements? Well, yeah, we got to add them to, or we got to update those fields, right? They're the foreign key. If you take a look at Hibernate flush order, you'll see that the persist action is executed before the collection elements are handled. This way, Hibernate inserts the child records first without the foreign key. Since the child entity does not store this information during the collection handling phase, the foreign key column is updated accordingly. The same logic applies to collection state modifications. So when removing the first entry from the child collection, post.get comments are remove 0. Hibernate execute. What? That's awesome. Hibernate executes 2 statements instead of 1. Okay, wait up. So you're saying that if I go, it automatically saves it? I don't think it automatically saves it. So let's go back here. So if I do this, so we should save this, right? Then I do message post dot remove or get comments dot remove. I'm going to remove the first one. So I'm removing red. What happens if you do that? I think there you have unsaved changes here. I think could be proven wrong though. So let's see what happens here. So I am saving the message post with these 3 children, but then after I save, I say remove the first one, and look, it's not there, right? So if I go back here to console and I look at the post comments, I should still see, yeah, I still see 3 with 1. However, if I do message post repository dot save message post like this, let's see how that works. It might add. I don't know what's going to add. I don't know how this is going to work. How this is going to play out. Either it saves a new message post. Oh, here we go. This thing, no default constructor for entity post comment. Oh, let's add a default constructor. No args. I don't know why it needed that. That's weird. No default constructor. Okay, I'll give you default constructor. I don't know why you needed that. I'm kind of worried about this. I think this is going to get really crazy. I think this is going to save 5 records. Maybe. We'll see. Dude, it did it. It did it. It deleted it. That's all. It deleted it. Oh, shoot. It deleted it. What? So that's because of the cascade all, I think. So let's connect. Post comment. Run. Wow. It deleted the red. GG. Clear this. Go to message post. Run this. Still have hello world. Oh, man. My head is hurting here. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You added the records. You save them to the database. It automatically saves everything for you, right? And then when you remove the 0, because you have the cascading here, because you have this where is it? Yeah, right here. Because you have the cascading here, it automatically deletes it. Oh, no. Well, the cascading, yeah, but because you have orphan removal, true. So let's take this off and see what happens when we remove it. So let's go back and rerun it. Any questions? Are you guys finding this valuable or no? Yes? Okay,
I'm finding it valuable. I'm just slow to unmute my microphone.
gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and rerun this. Post comment. That's awesome. So now that we don't, now you're allowed orphans, quote unquote, because the red comment is not deleted. It's just not pointing to the message post anymore. Awesome. Kind of like the whole orphan thing. That's kind of cool. So we'll do that. Typically, you don't want to delete records though. You just want to disable it. You want to do what's called a soft delete. So you don't want to actually erase your data. You want to just hide it. So that's a whole other topic. But basically, all you got to do is just have some kind of Boolean flag that says is soft deleted or is disabled, and then you just set that to true. But then you have to update all of your queries to then get the ones that are not disabled. Okay. All right. So now that we have that, let's see what else Vlad has to say. Because he says there's unidirectional now. This is cool. So yeah, post get comments are remove 0, but you have to call save after this. Then it'll then delete it. Nice. Okay. So is a Java util set any different? No, it's not. The same statements are executed if you use the join column annotation on the unidirectional one-to-many set association. Why is he bringing up set? Why is he bringing up a set? All right. Well, let's see. Okay, here it is right here. The best way to map a one-to-many association is to rely on the many-to-one side to propagate all entity state changes. Okay, let's read that again because that went over my head. The best way to map a one-to-many association is to rely on the many-to-one side. So the many-to-one. So instead of doing it on the post side, we want to do it on the post comment side. Okay. Well, first of all, let's actually do something here. Inside demo application, we've now saved all this, right? So let's create a new message post. So message post saved is equal to message post repository dot get or find by ID, and we're going to do one dot get. So we already know that it's saved and it's going to be in one, but I just want to print it out. Okay, so I'm going to s out save, and what it should do at this point is it should print out the message post and the comments. Let's go ahead and redo that. And again, this is all thanks to Lombok. Lombok, because this is at data, Lombok has a toString which automatically tries to display all of your fields automatically for you. I want to see what kind of record we get. Oh, what is this? Fail to lazily initialize a collection of role. Oh my goodness, I hate this. Shoot. This is what makes it complicated. I haven't figured out how to get around it. So what's happening here is message post repository find by ID. It loaded. Okay, so what happened is it loaded this right here. You go to the message post. Come on. Did I not run this? Oh, it's because it's an error. Shoot. Okay, so what happened is you guys saw the table, right? Message post only has this in its table. And so what happens is you're loading up all this data into the object, but it's not smart enough to load up these comments. And why is that? Because let's say you have 1 million children, right? You only want to see the parents because there's like 10 of them. If you have to, or let's just say there's 1 million parents, but each have like thousands of children. Okay, so if you want to get just the parent information, you only want to query for that. You don't want to query for the children. You don't care about the children. You just want to get like the main details of the parents, right? But if you want the children as well, then you're going to have to query for those children. So if you have 1 million of these parent records and they each have thousands of children, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to run 1 million queries to just populate the children inside of those parent objects. Does that make sense? I'll take that as a yes. So Spring Boot is trying to save you here. It's making it so that you cannot just, it would be nice if when I get saved, I can just automatically do save dot get comments like that. And it should work. But the problem is that, let's do that. I'm going to do save dot get comments. Let's do comments is equal to this. And then we're going to print this out and see what happens. So I'm going to print out the comments here. And this should give us another error. And that's because the comments are not loaded into saved yet. I might be wrong though. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't figured out this problem yet. Yep, there it is. It messed up. So it says failed to lazily initialize a collection of role message post. Cannot initialize proxy, no session. Yep. So what's happening here is the message post repository loaded up a message post, but the message post does not have all of its comments in it. Okay. They are lazily loaded. And the reason for that is because for that example that I told you before, if you're searching for all the parents, you don't really care about the children yet. You just you get the parent data, you do what you got to do with it, and then if you need the children information, you can then call the children for that specific parent. All right, but the question is how do you actually get that? So let me see if I can find it out real quick.
Is that when like you merge tables when you do a search or something?
You don't merge. No, this is completely different. This is lazy. How to fix hibernate lazy initialization. They always give you the wrong answer, and that's to make it eager, which basically says always load the children no matter what. As soon as you do that, you are defeating the purpose of the lazy loading. You're going to load the children all the time, and you're going to make your app. Yep, here it is. They always say this is the answer. It's not the right answer. You're killing your optimization at that point. But let me show you. Let me show you how it works. So if you put fetch type eager here, right? So there's fetch type eager and there's fetch type lazy. Lazy is the best way of doing it because you don't load all the children at the get-go. But if you can't figure out how to get past lazy like me, then you can just put eager, and when you run this, you will now be able to see all of the comments. The problem is this is not optimal at all whatsoever. In fact, if you were able to answer the difference between eager and lazy in an interview, you would automatically get a huge amount of bonus points. You get mad props. Okay, so right here, you can see that I printed out post comments, ID2, white, ID3, blue, and remove the red. So you can see here that I'm actually getting the full object. So this is how JPA was designed and intended to work. I want to get the saved post. I call it the repository. I get it, and I can just do Java at this point. Like, this is all pure Java. That is the whole purpose of Spring Boot. It's to make it so that your business logic is executed with plain Java, and all of the other fun stuff of database, API calls, configuration, all of that other stuff is abstracted away into different areas of your app. But this is truly how Spring Boot was intended. They could not get away from you can't get away from this eager thing though, because you're working on a website for American Airlines, Disney, Netflix. Like that's not an option. You cannot do eager. You got to figure out how to do lazy. All right. So I might have homework here to do where we got to figure out how to actually do it. Finally, sit down and tackle it. Let me see if there's a way to do it here. So save dot, get comments, set title. Yeah, there isn't. You need to have some sort of entity. The way to do it is you need some sort of like session, a Hibernate session entity manager, and you need to keep the session open so that you can then access them and then use them. I just don't know how to do that without the entity manager. I haven't even tried to. Okay. Well, I kind of have, but I always get stuck. All right. So let's see what anything else these guys do. These guys, you can see here that the join fetch directive for all the entities need to fetch along. Do not use the following anti-patterns. Yeah, do not use eager. Here's our boy Vlad. Come on, Vlad, tell us how to use join fetch with JPA. Yeah, look, see? I asked it. Hi, Vlad, can we perform join fetch if you're using Spring JPA repository? Does Vlad response? Entity graphs are also an option, but a custom repository is a much better solution. What? You did not answer the question, Vlad. That's funny. They even reference they even reference Vlad in this answer. He's all over the place. I was actually going to go to Vlad's school, but I forgot. I paid $50 and I missed the meeting, so that sucked. But at least I got paid. I've used him so many times.
Punish himself, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's see where we're at now. Now that we have this, what is let's do the unidirectional thing that he was talking about. Okay. So bidirectional one-to-many. The best way to map a one-to-many association is to rely on the many-to-one side to propagate all entity states. Let's go ahead and figure out if that's what he did here. If we persist 3 posts, yep, he did it right there. Okay. So let's go back here and do this. So in here, he has long ID, string title, and then he has this right here, mapped by post. One-to-many mapped by post. Mapped by post. Okay. So let's go here. Mapped by post. It should be mapped by message post, right? And he took out this column, join column. Oh, cool. And then when he added, he goes all the way now. Yeah, he goes all the way now with this code. Like, this is the code you copy and paste right here. So what he's doing is instead of doing get comments, add comment, he's adding these getters and setters here, or these adders. So what you do here is the post comment is coming in, you add it. If you want to remove a comment, you can do comments that remove, but notice how he is setting it himself. So he is setting the parent of the comment coming in to this. So if anytime we get a new comment, we're going to set the post, which is the parent, to be equal to this message post. So let's change this to set message post. Let's change this to set message post. All right, and let's see how he does it over here. So here we have ID generated value, long ID, string review, many-to-one fetch lazy. Oh, there it is, many-to-one fetch lazy, private post. So he's actually, this is unit bidirectional, right? So this that means you have access to both of them now. This is a message post. You have access to either or, which could lead to an interesting problem, by the way. In fact, it's going to lead to a very interesting problem with Lombok that's going to kill us, basically. Okay, we got this right here, right? Well, I'm going to tell you the secret so it won't drive you crazy. But if you didn't know about this, you could be driven mad. All right, so we got that. We got this. The post comment here. Why are they doing this? Why is he doing this? So remember how he's updating his own. He's creating his own equals and hashcode. We already talked about this. He's overwriting it, but he's basing it only on the ID. He's doing it only on the ID. He's not doing it on anything else. So the ID is the thing that identifies an object. Kind of scary. I don't know why he's doing this, but let's go ahead and add it anyways. We understand what it's doing. We don't know the full ramifications of it. So let's go ahead and put that here. So object O, post comment. Yep, it's in the right spot. hashCode based on that. Good. All right. What are the 3 related problems here? Oh, wow. I got to put in. Okay, let's go back here to post comment. We are going to take out this all args constructor. And we're just going to create our own constructor here. I guess we can do all args constructor. What we're going to do is we're going to do a trick. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to pass in the ID, review, and null, because there is no message post. So if I create a post comment like this, I'm not referencing a message post. Because I did all args constructor, though, if I really wanted to, I can then add a message post if I wanted to. So like right here, we can do message post like this, and then we can take this and put it either in here, like that, and that should work. Or we could keep it empty, and it'll be null. Let's do that. It doesn't really matter, because the message post here, remember when we do add, so we're not accessing get comments anymore, right? We're doing message post dot add, and we're adding add comment like that, right? And so when you do that, we are modifying the comment ourselves. So when you go inside of this, we're taking that comment, we're adding it to the list, and then we're saying set message post to this. So what we're saying is, I'm the message post now, I'm the captain now, set me to be the parent. That was a bad Tom Hanks joke. Anyways, let's go ahead and run this. Let's see how this turns out. We're still going to run into errors, I think, because of the lazy loading. Yeah, we still ran into errors with lazy loading, and collection is mapped by a property name message post, which does not exist in the target entity. Oh, it does not. Oh. This should be message post like this, because it's mapped by the variable name message post inside of this post comment, which is that one right there. Man, okay, let's try it again. Okay, now that we got that, let's see what this error is. Yep, it says failed to lazily initialize a collection of role message post. That's great. Let's get around that by just making it eager, and then let's go ahead and run this. And I think we're going to get into an infinite loop. Will we get into an infinite loop? Nope, not yet. It's breaking. So what does this one say? It failed to lazily initialize a collection of role message post comments. Why? Fetch type eager. Okay, let's run that. Jeez. You guys can see why this can get confusing. And remember how I always said, like, remember how you've heard me say, just write your own DAO. This is why I say that, because this is the kind of stuff, it looks so easy and awesome at the beginning, but this is where it can get really complicated. And that's pretty much why Vlad has made a living for himself. Oh, look, we got an infinite loop. Why do we have an infinite loop? Anybody? We got a Stack Overflow. Why do we have a Stack Overflow? Bonus points, we can answer why we got a Stack Overflow and why our thing crashed.
Both models are referencing each other. So when one is you're printing comments, so it's trying to print the post comment, and then the post comment is trying to print the child comments, and so on and so on.
Oh my god! Yes, awesome. Good job, Chris. Yeah, this. Oh my goodness, man! This, a lot of people don't even know about this. So if you bring this up in an interview as well, they will. It's kind of a funny story. I mean, it's not really funny. It's only funny to somebody who's actually kind of seen it or knows JPA. But if you mention this to them, this is huge bonus points. Basically, you have recursion in your toString method, just like Chris said. The post comment. So in a bidirectional relationship, right? The post comment is trying to print out what's inside of the ID and the review and the message post, and then inside of the message post is trying to print out what's inside the post comment, which is so I'm sorry, the post, yeah, and it's just an infinite loop. So the post comment, so it goes through all the post comments try to print out all this, and then it goes back to the message post, which is the dad or the parent, and it tries to print this out again, and it just keeps on going, and it just keeps repeating over and over and over again. So the way to get around this is inside of the post comment, you can just generate a toString. So inside of here, just generate a toString. Generate a toString, and just don't print the parent. Or you can find a different way of printing out the parent. So we hit OK.
You can also use the JSON ignore properties annotation.
Oh, cool. It would
It's a
actually work with
little
that.
cleaner, I think. Yeah.
Let's try it out. Okay. So JSON. So Chris will be right, but the reason I think it might not work is because JSON ignore is used by the Jackson mapper when you're. Oh, that's a good. That's actually a good point. This recursion also happens when you're calling the controller.
Oh,
too.
sorry. Yeah. If you're just printing it out, hold on. I have that annotation too. Give me a second.
Well, let's run it anyways. But that, so this actually will mess up your endpoints too. So when you try to call an endpoint, you know how it tries to convert it to JSON? The Jackson mapper is going to go into the message post, and then it'll go into the child, then back to the parent, back to the child, so on and so forth. And yeah, it's still messed up.
It's at toString.exclude.
Up here?
On top of whatever you don't want.
Oh, okay, cool,
looping.
cool. Awesome. All right, great. So you have given us a solution to two problems here. So at
capital T toString dot exclude capital E.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is a Lombok thing, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's get rid of. Oh yeah, I already got rid of it. So thank you, Chris. This is great. So it looks a lot cleaner. ToString.exclude is the annotation used because this is Lombok. And now when we run this, it should work. More bonus points right here, guys. This is the kind of stuff that gets you jobs. Okay, great. Right here. It works. No infinite loop. Awesome. All right. Any questions on that? Does everybody understand the significance of the JSON ignore here?
Explain that one more time.
So you know on your controller right here? Actually, let's do it real quick. So if you go controller, we're going to create a new Java class. We're going to create a post comment controller. Okay, we'll do REST controller, and then we'll just do a at get mapping, and it's going to be at API / comments, or no, posts. And then here we're going to do public list of post comment, no, message post. And then get all posts. And in here, we're going to, remember we have to autowire our, and this is cheating. Remember, this is cheating because I shouldn't be calling the repository from here. You should be calling the business service, but this is just an example. And you should have a constructor because you're going to be writing tests. We already covered this, but again, this is just an example. So we're just going to return post comment repository find all. That's the wrong one. It's message post. Jeez Louise, come on. Message post repository. Message post repository. Find all. There we go. Okay, so now that we have this and we run this, we can then call Postman, and we'll do API / post, and we'll be able to get all of our posts. Okay, so we're going to do get API post, and then when we run this, what's going on here? Oh, I got an error. What do we got here? Jackson's getting mad at me. Stack Overflow. Yeah, it messed up. It doesn't work. Nice.
Remember, you took off JSON ignore.
I took off JSON ignore. Okay, good. All right, let's go back to this. Or was it here? Okay, cool. So the way what's supposed to happen, when we call this, we're supposed to get all the messages right in JSON. But the problem is it crashed because it got stuck in an infinite loop because it kept message post. It was trying to parse this. It was trying to parse the message post but the message post has a list of post comments. Each post comment has a message post, and so on and so forth. So what you want to do is you can eliminate that by just doing JSON ignore like this, and then this won't be converted to JSON. So now when we rerun this, when we call Postman, you're going to now see the JSON appear. Oh, there it was. There you go. So hello world, and then you have the comments as well. Pretty cool. Okay, so Chris, as a challenge to you, I don't know you were on, but as a challenge to you, if you can figure out how to load lazy loaded records, I will be forever in your debt because I cannot figure that out. And I'm sure that once you do figure that out, JPA will become ridiculously awesome.
I wonder if it's because you're calling those repository commands like outside. So there was an error before about like a session,
yes,
not being inside a session. So I wonder if you actually did the same things like inside of a controller, if it would just work. Because I do have things using fetch-type.lazy.
Oh, and it works?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I wonder if it's because you're calling it as a result of an event versus, a HTTP request or something.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Well, we can talk about that later. Okay. So now that we have this, let's see what else we want to talk about. So we have JSON ignore, we have toString exclude. We talk about Vlad. Let's go back to Vlad here. So there's and then let's check it out in H2 to figure out what it looks like. So let's reload this. Let's connect to it, and we have our message post. When we run this, it still does not have a foreign key entry to it. And if we clear that and go to post comment, it looks exactly like before, but now it's bidirectional. which if you didn't know what that meant, you can access the parent from the child, you can access the children from the parent. So on the message post, you can access these comments, and they're mapped by this field, the message post. And then on the flip side, you can access the parent from here. Okay, so that's one to many. Let's go to many to many. So let's see here. There's several things to note on the aforementioned mapping. The many-to-one association uses fetch type lazy because otherwise we fall back to eager fetching, which is bad for performance. I already explained that. The parent entity post features two utility methods, add comment and remove comment, which are used to synchronize both sides of the bidirectional association. You should always provide these methods whenever you're working with bidirectional association, as otherwise you risk very subtle state propagation issues. So what he's basically saying is, if you are updating the child, like right here, you're updating the child, make sure that you set the parent to reference the object that's doing it, right? You always want to make sure you're taking care of these relationships, basically. Which is weird though, because you would think that Hibernate would do that for you, but I guess in this case it doesn't. I mean, we saw with the Cascade All how it was doing that stuff. Okay, next one is, I guess we can look at the database. We can look at the queries because he's saying that it's only 4 queries. So let's go ahead and rerun this. Actually, we can just look at it from here. Wow, it does do it. No? Does he do an update? He got rid of an update somehow, but I don't know how. Insert into post comment message. Oh yeah, right here, message post ID and the review ID. That's awesome. So he figured out the best way to reduce the amount of SQL going in. Nice. Good job, lad. Okay. I tried watching this video, went over my head, so maybe I might want to try to watch that again. All right, eyes glazed over watching this. It ain't for the faint of heart. Okay. Ooh, cool. I don't know where he gets this entity manager though. Let's try this out real quick. Yeah, I don't know where he gets this. You got to create some sort of bean for this or something like that. Let's try it out. So list post comment comments 2 is equal to entity manager, and then he's creating the query where he's selecting PC from post comment PC, where PC.post ID is equal to post ID. So he's doing his own query here, and then he's returning the result. We would have to change this a little bit, but do we have access to an entity manager?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, so this is how you would actually do the lazy loaded thing. Okay, so he says here, select PC. What field is? Oh, is that the alias select PC from post comment? He did a post comment like that. He has entity name equals post comment tables and post underscore comment. It's weird that you would do it like that. I guess that makes sense. Let's try it out. And let's print out comments too. All right, let's run this. I mean, there's post ID might not work. It might be message post ID or something like that. Okay, let's see what happened here. Cannot resolve attribute post of post comment. So post comment needs to have something similar to its message post, right? Yeah, it's message post. So let's go back and fix that. Message post ID is equal to post ID, and we're passing on the parameter post ID of 1L. Let's just change this to message post ID like that. All right, any questions so far? Glad you're experimenting with me on this. Okay, let's see where we're at. Come on, come on, come on. Look, it did it. That's awesome. It did it. That's great. Okay, let's do lazy loading now. All right, so let me comment this out, and then we're going to go into lazy loading. We're going to do lazy, and then post comment is going to be lazy. Let's see how it goes. Can you do an entity manager.end session? Close? Maybe that's it? Oh, cool, it did it. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, it's because we're doing a direct, we're doing a more direct query. We're not actually trying to go through the saved one. Shoot, I mean, it's the entity manager is the key to this guy right here. We try to stop and rerun this. This is going to fail now because it's lazy loaded, so the comments will get messed up. But I wonder if there's a way to wrap it with the session. Yeah, it broke. And it says because it failed to lazily initialize a collection of role message post comments cannot initialize proxy, no session. So I mean, this is where you would have to do it through Entity Manager, some sort of session here.
Yeah, like I said before, I think if you're coming at it through a controller, and
Yeah.
not just do it as a result of an event here,
Okay.
I think it just works because I have my roles for Spring Security are managed with a lazy loading, and I don't have any entity manager calls.
Okay, well let's do it then. So let's do post comment controller. We're gonna do a get mapping API/post/ID, and then we'll do public message post find by ID, and we're gonna do saved message post.find by ID get. Oh yeah, we'll just print out the whole thing. We'll just return saved, and it should print out the comments. Right? Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna take this out. All right, here we go. It worked. What the? Yeah, that's weird. How about this? We return comments like that, and then we're gonna do list of comments. Will this work? And why doesn't it work in the main or in the event listener? That's weird. It does work. What the frick? I don't get it. I don't get it. How about we do? What do we do? Service. So
I think it has something to do with like when the controller receives a request, right? Like it spins up a new thread for each request,
Uh-huh.
and there must like a session must be associated with that thread. So it probably has to deal with like everything that happens in that session. It uses the session to determine like what should be lazy loaded. But when you're doing the event, I imagine because it's in like the main Spring,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
but there has to be logic to it though. That's the only thing. Is like, what is? I mean, when you set the thread, that kind of makes sense. It's just still weird. Like I want to understand why it doesn't work. So let's go. Let me just do this real quick. I just want to reproduce what I've seen. If maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it's always worked. And I just didn't know what I was talking about. But let's try this now. See if that breaks. So post comment. These are all lazy. Yep, they're lazy. Oops. Let's redo it. Sorry. So this, because I did not put service, this class was not instantiated as a bean, and so the pizza controller got confused, or the post comment controller got confused because it couldn't find this bean. Okay, so now that we got this, let's go ahead and run it. It works. That's great. Well, I made more of it than what it was, but you guys saw. I mean, you can see right here where it gets messed up. So there are times when that whole session is not automatically spun up for you, and you got to be aware of that, basically. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, check it out. I wonder, I'm gonna try something else real quick. So let's do message post. Let's create a bunch of them. Hello world 2, hello world 3, hello world 4, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna add message post to all of them. Add a comment, new post comment, and it's going to be null, and it's going to be France, and we'll add another one, Canada, Germany, and then we'll save all of these and see what happens if we call all of them. So let's save all these guys. All right, and so when we call all of them, are they truly lazy loaded or not? I guess that's my question. I don't even know how you would tell that. Oh yeah, you can tell that by the hibernate here. Okay, so when I call this, it's going to show. It should show 4 different queries for message post 2, 3, and 4. All right. So if I do get post and I hit send, then you can see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and yep, it has the 4 different queries there, right? But let's change it up again, and we're going to on the controller. Let's just call a comment. Comments, and we're going to find comment by ID, but we're going to pass a list, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to find them all. So message repository.find all. Okay, so we're going to get all of the message posts, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to return post.get id.get comment. I'm just making stuff up here. Okay, so we're going to do post.get comment. I'm sorry. .get. So we're getting. What don't you like about this?
What
Really?
does get first again? What was that?
It gets it's from getting it from the list.
Oh.
Are you for real? Fine, we'll make this an integer. Okay. So we're returning. We get all of the message posts. Oh, now I completely screwed this up. So we're gonna do post.get. We're getting the index. We're gonna put index there, and then we're gonna return its comments. There we go. So here's the index. Okay, let me explain. So for a list, you know how an array has index of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever? It's basically like that for a list. You just do post.get, and then you give it the index, and it'll give you that element of the list.
Okay.
But it's just like an array. It starts with 0 and goes up. And if you put in the size here, the size will cause it to crash because it starts at 0. You should not have an index that's equal to the size, basically. It follows the same behavior in an array. Okay, so here's my experiment. What I want to do is I want to call this endpoint with like a 1 or a 2. It's going to give me all of the records for the message post, right? But they should be lazy loaded. And then I'm going to do post.get index.get comments. I should only see a query here for the element that I'm getting the comments for. Does that make sense? Yes, no?
Sort of.
Sort of? Oh, shit. Sorry. Okay, let's see if it works. So let's rerun this. So remember how I said in eager, it loads all the children automatically?
Oh yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm getting all the parents here, but I don't want to get all the children. I'm testing to see if I'm only getting just the parents. Because here I'm
Okay.
only getting the comments from one index, which will be a 1. So this is going to be the second. It should be the second one, which is this guy right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's only one query, so if I do API posts, right? If I do API posts and I hit enter, you can see that I get all of the parents and I get all of their children because of the toString. And you can see here that I actually do queries for the children right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's clear this. Let's see what happens if I call comments 1. And it's only returning the comments from France, right? Dude, it's legit. So I got all of the records, put them in here. I don't know what this is, but I'm assuming that is what it, yeah, it's getting the ID and the title. Putting them in here for all the posts. Let's actually do sout post.count. Or size, I'm sorry. And it should be 4. But it's only going to query the comments for that one object. That's awesome. Okay, let me just erase this real quick. All right, we got that. So I'm going to call this again. It should do a count of 4. Yep, there's 4 parents. And it only did 1 query for that child. Oh, that's great. Any questions? Okay, let's go back to our boy Vlad. Best way to map the JPA and Hibernate many-to-many relationship. Imagine having the tool that automatically tags JPA and Hibernate. Oh, that's his optimizer. Okay, in this article, I'm going to show you the best way to map a many-to-many association when using JPA and Hibernate. As simple as JPA annotations might be, it's not always obvious how efficient they are behind the scenes. That's correct. Assuming we have the following database tables. Okay, so now he has tags. So instead of a post and comments, he has tags now. A typical many-to-many database association includes 2 parent tables, which are linked through a third one containing 2 foreign keys. So the first choice for many Java developers is to use a list for collections that don't entail any specific ordering. That's interesting because you would think you would want to use a set for this, and I guess that's why you brought it up in the other one. But let's go ahead and see. Let's actually create a post, but instead of doing it, we're going to use this code right here. So we're going to create a post. Which is different than the other one, but you would actually want to combine them so that you can deal with comments and posts. And let's import all these. Import all. There's no import. Okay. We need a tag. We don't have a tag yet. New array list. All right, we got to make the tag. Okay, let's go back to the tag. Oh, we use something special here called natural ID. I don't know what that is. Let's import all this. import, import. You have to import objects, okay. So we got all that. Let's go back to the post, import all this. Tag.getPost. Yeah, let's add some data annotations on here. It doesn't have the getters and setters. Oh, getters and setters submitted for brevity. Yeah, let's add data. Okay. So we got all of these now. What the heck is natural ID? Okay, well, let's run this and see how it looks in H2. There are several aspects to note on the aforementioned mapping that are worth explaining. First of all, the tags association of post entity only defines the persistent merge cascade types. As explained in this article, the remove entity state transition doesn't make any sense for many-to-many JPA association since it could trigger a chain deletion that would ultimately wipe both sides of the association. Oh, that's awesome. Basically saying you got to be careful about your cascading because it's many-to-many, so you're going to be touching all sorts of records. The add remove utility method, so we already know with add remove, we already saw that, mapping children to their parents, are mandatory if you use bidirectional associations so that you can make sure that both sides of the association are in sync. Yep, we're cool with that. The post entity uses the entity identifier for equality since it lacks any unique business key. Okay. The tag entity has a unique business key which is marked with a hibernate specific natural ID annotation. When that's the case, the unique business key is the best candidate for equality checks. Okay, he's making statements here. The map by attribute of the post association, we already covered this with the one-to-many. In the bidirectional relationship, the post entity owns the association. This is needed since only one side can own the relationship, and changes are only propagated to the database from this particular side. Yeah, he was talking about that before, but we really didn't see it. Oh, I guess so. The changes are, so one table has a field, basically. But this is a many-to-many, so I don't understand this. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this looks. Did this run? Yep, this is running. So let's see how this looks inside of H2. So we have a post, nothing in there, and then we have a tag, and there's nothing in there, but we also have a join table, which is a post tag, and there's nothing in there. So let's see if we can add some stuff to it. So under demo application, we're going to do, oh shoot, we need a post repository to save it. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, let's go back and add a repository so we can save it, and we'll do that here. An interface, and it's going to be a post repository. Okay, and we're going to extend JPA repository. Nope, JPA repository, and it's going to be post, and this one's a long. Okay, that is a long, right? Yep. And then the tag is also a long of ID, so we can just create one of those as well. We're going to extend it. All right, we should be good to go now. And we're going to auto wire these guys in here. We're going to auto wire these guys at the top here. All right, so now that we have that, let's see here. We got post. So we're going to do post is equal to new post. And then let's make some tags. So tag1 is equal to new tag. And we should create a constructor for it. It has a name, basically. Oh, it does have a constructor. Great. So new tag red, white, and blue. Okay, and then we're going to do in the post dot set tags list dot of. Is this going to work? I don't know. Tag 1, tag 2, tag 3. Did he set up an add in here? Oh yeah, add tag 1. Yeah, we should do it that way because we want the bidirectional behavior. So you got to make sure you take care of it. You might also want to remove the getter and setter from the list itself, or maybe the setter from the list. You can only get things from the list. That's not going to work either. At least with, never mind. Let's just keep going. All right. So now that we got this, then we're going to go ahead and save it. So post repository dot save the post, and let's see what happens when we do this. This is a many-to-many relationship though. So let's do post 2 is equal to new post, right? And then we're going to do post 2 dot add tag 2, post 2 dot add tag 3. Okay, then we're going to say post repository dot save post 2. Let's see what happens when we run this. Nope, did it break? It broke. Oh man, why did it break? Detached entity pass to persist. This is weird. Why does it do this? Okay, so what's happening here is we gotta save tag 1. We gotta save tag 2. Isn't that weird how the behavior changed on this? I guess because the cascade. Oh yeah, because he took off cascade all. Remember how he said that you can't do cascading or else you might destroy everything. So we're gonna save all the tags individually with the tag repository, and then we're gonna start adding them here. Let's see if it likes it. Nope, didn't like that either. What's going on here? Detached entity pass to persist tag. Ah, shoot. What does this mean? Well, let's do this first. Let's run this first. Okay, so we insert into tag name and ID. So when we go in here, we're going to refresh this. We'll be able to see some tag entries. So yeah, we got red, white, and blue. Weird that they're not in order. Okay, and so now that we can do that, let's go ahead and do post repository. Oh, maybe because we haven't saved this first. Because you got to set the IDs first, right? So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, let's do it. So here are the tags. Let's look at the posts. Yep, there's the post right there. Great. Does these have titles? Yep, they have titles. Great. Second post. Okay. So now that we've saved those, what we want to do is we want to actually add them. So we'll do post.add tag 1, and then we're going to do post2.add tag 1, and then we'll do post.add tag 2. We'll leave it like that, but now we're going to save them. Let's see if this actually works. We're going to save the post, and then we're going to save post 2. So the reason we have to do it like this, I think, is because there's no cascade. So you have to be very explicit about saving those IDs first. So you take the tag, you take the entities, and you save them first to give them IDs. You do the same thing with these right here, right? And then once you do that, then you can start adding your tags. So, okay, if this doesn't work, I have one more thing to try. Let's go ahead and rerun this. Oh, wow, it worked. Okay, so
Bobby is free.
so let's check it out. So under the tag, you're going to run that. You're going to see the tags. Then in the post, you're going to see the post. Hello world second post. And then under post tag, which is the join table, you run it, and you're going to see post ID 1, tag ID 1, post ID 2 with tag ID 1 because we added the same tag to both of them. And then you have post ID 1 pointing to 2, and you have 1 pointing to, yeah, so it's definitely a many-to-many relationship. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the, we're at the end of the office hours. Does anybody have any questions before we get off?
What was that natural ID tag? What was that for again?
I don't know. He said that is, Vlad said it has to do something about it being unique. But I would have to do more research on that because I've never seen that before.
The database where the table will like index that column. It's for like where you have a natural key. So for example, obviously we'll have like a unique ID, right, which generating by identity. That's for the database purposes. But like we're typically going to probably look up this like a tag or a post by its name or something,
right?
Or a slug or something. So if you set a what was it, native ID, it'll natural ID, it'll index that column. And so when you look up by that column, it'll be really fast, basically.
So basically, it's indexing it, but it's weird that they're calling it a natural ID. But you know what? That makes sense because when you go back and look at, there is an actual generated ID for that one too, right? Like there's a generated ID and then you have natural ID. So okay, that makes sense. So this is basically to index it so that you can search by this, basically. And if you really wanted to, you can actually do that here by typing in list of tag, find all. Well, there's a near search in here too, so you can do find all by tag or find all close to tag or something like that. And then maybe you can do a fuzzy search. I don't.
Would it allow entry of the same name? Like, could you have the same post with the same name still?
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
this is for tags. This is just for looking for tags.
No, I mean with the naturalized. We go back to like you're putting it on top of which.
You're putting it on top of the tag, the name
Oh,
of
you're
the
putting it on top of tag. Oh, name of
the
the tag.
tag name, yeah.
Oh yeah. So the tag name has to be unique then.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I have a deployment, unfortunately, so I can't stay late. But you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys on Saturday for a demo. I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna have my popcorn ready. So you guys have a great night. I will talk to you guys later.
Have a good
See ya.
night.
Thank you.